No, like, yeah, look, it's live. Because there's part of me that's like, we could do all the fun stuff and like chat and connect. We could socially connect to each other, like,
Always not that
and then, yeah, every time we start recording, it's like as if we just fly straight into business, and that's just not what we do.
It's true, it's not our style.
But then I don't always want to like kind of record all the stuff that's potentially like personal. But yeah, maybe occasionally just sort of making it clear that that's like important. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
like,
an important thing to like.
Yeah, as long as we like don't end up discussing or getting boring in these bits where people have to like watch through this or skip through this until we're actually talking about what they want to listen.
I think that's the thing I just want to name is just like how I like we'll probably keep doing it where we just like catch up and chat for a bit and just be friends and then like start the recording for the public and like chat. But I just want to like name. I think that is what's happening. There is something behind the scenes going on that's actually really fucking important.
Okay.
And anyone interested in us and what we're doing and shit should probably like have friends. Be friends. Be friends. If you're watching this, with everyone.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Anything else?
Any other business? Yeah, we're done.
Lovely. Right. Yeah. Ben and Jerry's.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I was going to say the Ben and Jerry's is melting because there's no freezer here, so it's slowly dying, and the cake's getting colder and the ice cream's getting warmer.
That's strange.
Yeah, they're going to both be stodgy and dry in the same temperature while you're in Brighton.
Yeah, there's enough left for you, really. No one else.
You could have come to London and slept there, or maybe inside that drawer. I reckon you'd fit in there. So, you talk about the thing.
Yeah. So, what were you talking about today? What was the question?
Well, you called it.
Yeah, but you summarised the question really well. Today we are discussing and hopefully coming to at least a temporary, if not conclusion, because we don't have Anna here as part of a discussion or anyone else. But we are discussing how much influence the hirer and the worker have on where the funds will go, where the funds raised from each transaction, because it's actually an important detail that I think in my mind, had one concept and Luke actually had a different concept. And when it came to the board of literally splitting the money and we were talking about splitting our first transaction of money, we realised that actually we think of it differently. So perhaps we should start with where I see it as I'm talking. I imagined that the hirer and the worker gets equal decision on the money that is being donated. So if the worker decides to take the whole 49%, their maximum amount that they take, then there's 51% left, and then that is split in half.
Yeah, that's my that's the understanding that I sort of feel is sort of more fair for everybody.
And so that, you know, if the worker decides to give the whole 100%, then they then get 50%, 50%. Like,
yeah,
I feel like the 49% rule only works when they want to take all of their money.
So should we start by describing all the options that we're aware of so far?
Yes.
That are like vaguely sensible.
That's why I was describing that one.
So one is that, and should we just, for the sake of this whole conversation, just run with one consistent example, which is, I'm fixing your bike for 1 hour for £10.
Yeah.
So I'm the worker, you're the hirer. You're paying £10 for me to fix your bike.
Okay.
And so, yeah, there's just obviously different ways that we can work out where that money's going, like who gets to make that choice.
Yeah.
And kind of at what stage, I guess. So like option A. I don't know if this is what before I was calling option A, but is what I think is the one I like most, where that £10 is split 50-50. You as the hirer get to decide where your 50%, so that's £5 goes. You put that in your favourite charities and projects. Great. That's part of your incentive for using Dignity Platform over other things. And then I, as the worker, can decide where my £5 goes. And I also, if I want to, can pocket up to 49% of the total £10. So that's practically all of my £5. But obviously, if I pocket practically all of my £5, then I've got like a few pence that I'm actually gifting to a cause.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that's option A. Yeah, I would like to talk more about my reasons for preferring that one later. But yeah, let's just spell them out first, isn't it?
Okay, so we're going to call that A. Let's call the one that I just talked about B. So whatever the percentage that's getting given, that gets split into the 50%. So if the worker decides to give 100%, then they get to decide where 50% goes. The hirer gets to decide 50%. If they decide to pocket more, up to 49%, then that remaining fiver is split 250 into the hirer and worker. That's option B.
Yeah.
Is there a C?
What's option C, where it's just split 51-49?
So again?
Am I really lost?
So again?
I think I'm lost. 51-49.
It reminds me of like tax and.
I mean, the option C is that
the
worker has all the say in it, so it's split 51-49, and the 51%, all the worker decides where that money goes, so they can take up to 49%, and the rest of it they decide.
Oh, I see. So the hirer has no say.
Yeah, the hirer has no say. That's the other option.
Yeah, that's true. Well, there's an option D, I think. Well, there's loads, I think. Let's explore kind of more the merrier, I think, at least to start with. Because we were talking about that, and it is sort of more complicated, at least to explain. But some things I don't think necessarily, just a thought, maybe we don't have to necessarily explain exactly the details of every algorithm. I mean, I definitely don't think we should explain every algorithm, like, unless people are really curious about it. But yeah, that one I was talking about at your house, where it's somewhere in between option A and B.
Okay, so where, depending on how much the person decides to give of the income of the payment, depends on how much choice they get, and that changes depending on how much they pay. But they will always, even if they take 49%, will still have some decision over at least part of the money. Yeah. Okay, which is proportional to how much they decide to.
Yeah, the best way to visualize this I've seen is like a graph with an X and Y axis. And going on the £10 example, you do like 10 points going up. And then there's this theoretical horizontal line going across that represents where the divide is in the decision making. Above it is the, let's say, hirer, and below it is the worker. So below that line, the worker decides. So in that example, you said about the hirer having no say and the worker having all of the say. That theoretical line would obviously be at the top of that £10, and then all of the decision making power is underneath that line and belongs to the worker. And the option D, I think it was, I said, wasn't it? The complicated one, sort of mathematically, at least in comparison to the other ones. And I don't think it would be worth trying to get first-time users to understand it. You would just say a simple thing like, you both get to decide. You know, just like when you search for a bicycle fixer, users don't need to know the mathematical algorithm behind how those search results are ordered. Like literally, actually on Kickstarter, or was it Indiegogo, if you search for crowdfunding campaigns or you put in a search term, the default searching option is magic, sort by magic, honestly. And I think it's kind of nice because it's just a playful, fun way of saying that they put a lot of thought into combining various different things like relevance to your search term, how close it is to being funded, how trending it is, how new it is, so that new crowdfunding campaigns get a chance to get in the spotlight, and things like that. They just call it magic.
I have a question. One more question. I thought that if we're going to quite transparently show where each bit of money's going to, rather than just, I guess we could just show a percentage. But even the percentage is still going to show numbers, and I think people are going to care when they're choosing a charity themselves. They're going to care how much of that pot is going to go. And it'd be nice to be able to show how much money exactly. £3.72 is going to this. I feel like, especially if they're seeing segments as well, they're going to wonder how that's worked out.
Yeah.
If it's a little confusing, if it's not just like clear, they're going to be like, why is it that much?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I've thought about that complicated one, is I think we might need to explain it.
I think in this conversation, because it's so closely related to a slightly different conversation, I think we should try and weave them both in, which is around hirers, especially when they are posting an unmet need, a need that's not being offered yet. Quite often we found in the offline pilot, I observed that they don't care that much where their money's going. They're just really grateful that something's going to be done. So like some hirers, I think, care a lot about where their money's going to go, and they're happy to probably pay more for it and blah, blah, blah. But then we had loads of people on the offline pilot who are just like, I really like the idea of this project and think it's great, and I do enjoy that my money's going to go to something good. But to be honest, I'm happy to just let the worker decide in this case. And I think that's cool. So I think especially as we start to think about tech, like the definition of a bug in tech is when we haven't specified how the software should behave or respond to something. So you have to have defaults. I'm going to program you to not behave like that. You want to fund that? Nesta?
Got her going.
There's our accountant here. Just, yeah. Oh yeah. So. I'm getting it back. It's coming. Ah, good. Thank God for live streaming. It's close to, yeah, so what do we do by default with the money? So that's why I think it's really powerful, especially in the app. It will be really effective to have Dignity Platform taking by default 10-15%, because surely quite a lot of people are not going to actively specify anything. They're not going to override that with their own charity, like their own support list sort of thing. So so what happens if people just literally can't be bothered or don't feel like they have time to create a support list? Just their boiler's leaking and they want a plumber now. Like there's got to be, like Dignity needs to know how to deal with that sort of, like what's the default kind of distribution of money being raised sort of thing.
Yeah. We can also
so you're thinking like a default.
Like, you need a task on it right now.
Yeah.
It could be like 4 clicks away from it.
Yeah, I really like that kind of thing. Like there's loads of little ways of gamifying it. Like I think it'd be awesome to have a once a month or once a week you can put a need out there and it could be called like the Bat Siren or something, and it's like it just
I'm getting like
messages every single person within the local vicinity who has a chance of like having your skill. But you can only do it like once a month or something like that, and it's just like a fun way of just sort of instantly elevating your need and hopefully getting it met straight away. Just like playful little ways to just kind of mix it up a bit.
It's really fun to play with. So anyway, back to what we were talking about. So do you want to state your case, I guess, for the idea? Because I want to think through it as well. I haven't like decided on this option. It's like, it's quite confusing every time I think about it sometimes. Visualizing it and actually putting it out on the real-time prototype helped quite a lot to like, and also when I talk about it and I explain that like the hirer and the, I guess they still both get to decide. Anyway, go on. You talk about option A.
Okay, so I'm just gonna. I think I like option A because this is what option A looks like. I haven't done the other ones yet, but see that line in the middle? That represents that it's completely balanced 50-50. Above that line is the hirer getting to choose where 5 of those £10 in this example per hour are going, and below the line the worker chooses where their money goes, and the red represents the maximum amount that they can pocket for themselves. So they still have to gift a little bit of it because they can only pocket 49% of the original total. So there's still going to be a tiny little bit, even if they're pocketing loads. So Pasco brought up a very good point of like, well, 2 things came up in the conversation last time, which were really big for me, really significant. One was, what about skint people? I'm just poor and I actually just really need to pocket a higher percentage than Pasco, who's minted. So that's not fair because then I get less say on where money to good causes goes. That's not fair. And I thought, true that. But it feels like actually we're forgetting. I feel like we're forgetting, by going down that conversation, we're forgetting what Dignity Platform is actually for again. It's not actually, I don't think it's for helping stint people to make some money on the side. There's loads and loads of projects that are doing that. I think we're in risk of trying to meet every single need on this planet all at the same time. And if we try and do that, I think we'll fail. I think certainly we can meet needs so well that they create a ripple effect and become part of an interrelating ecosystem of like need meeting that complements each other, and we can collaborate with other organizations like GiveWell and Art of Hosting and organizations that work with digitally excluded and socially isolated people and all these sorts of beautiful things, and we can tie into those. But I think especially at this embryonic super early startup stage, actually the more we can focus, just like in branding, the more you focus on what you most want to impact and where you most want to hit, the better. So for me, that was really clear. If you're skint and you're trying to like desperately meet your low income needs, like good on you and good luck. And there's loads of there's loads of causes and projects that are trying to address the root causes of poverty on Dignity Platform. So we're indirectly addressing that at a system level, not at a direct individual level. Go somewhere else. Thanks. If you want to fundraise for those projects and you're passionate about meeting your neighbours, welcome. I'm in. And then the other aspect was the other thing you said was about so like wear and tear and stuff. So if an odd job, let's say they're both £10 an hour, but one odd job is just packing some cardboard boxes for somebody who's in a wheelchair or whatever, no wear and tear, no equipment needed or whatever. And then another one is bringing in Pasco to use, like £15,000 worth of fragile video production equipment. It's like it's wear and tear. It's like, maybe there's a train fare in there and some food and stuff. So out of that, I thought two things. One is if you feel like you do need an extra bit of money for expenses like wear and tear, for example, which is not so much an expense that you're paying, but it's kind of depreciation, you'd call it, isn't it? You know, like driving a car around a lot or whatever, that sort of thing. Then just cost more. Just charge more per hour. Don't charge £10. Charge like £1 million an hour. Charge whatever you need to charge.
We were also talking about a separate pie chart, weren't we, for expenses?
And that was the final thing. Yeah, out of that, like I'm sort of seeing a branch of all my little tangents here, and off that little offshoot, that's the last thing. Was maybe further down the line, or maybe now, we have a completely separate way to bill for expenses. Did Reem and Richard? Oh no, it's Adam. Adam Bates wants Ione to make him food, veggie, freezable food, and he wants to pay her £25 an hour and blah blah blah, and fundraising for courses and whatever. But all the inspiring stuff, all the reason why we're doing the whole thing and all that.
But the system.
But he said very clearly, because he's so beautifully clear and thoughtful about these things and considered, he said, the ingredients would, of course, be a completely separate thing that would be unrelated to, this £25 an hour. This is like additional, complete.
Yeah.
Would have to be affordable, but obviously I'll just give you that money. So like that, I mean, I think Adam's idea, I feel like his assumption, reading the way he's written that so far, is that Dignity is not designed to help with that expenses thing. And so he would just informally do that on the side. But I think it could be nice to have that inside Dignity. If it doesn't confuse it.
I think like if it's going to work more smoothly, and you want to hire just a painter to paint a wall, if you can also, within that transaction of payment, pay for the paint. I don't know how it is in an accounting front, what that means in terms of that money movement. Like that's probably a whole other question, because then we're...
Well, sorry, I didn't catch that. So is that...
If we're facilitating that money of payments for expenses, I mean, if we're facilitating that, what that means in terms of, it would make the actual accounting probably more complex, but it potentially might mean that people don't get taxed on those expenses for the jobs. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? If we're suddenly moving all the expenses money as well.
I mean, as a person, you just claim that expense, that's fine. But are you thinking it goes through Dignity, or are you thinking it goes as a separate sort of cash transaction or something? You keep cutting out.
I don't know. I mean, I'm almost picturing like an expenses pie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Donated, but like it could just complicate things. I don't know. We've gone kind of quite off tangent here. What our question is today. We don't really talk about expenses, do we?
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, it would just be treated the same in a sense that it would just, with however we're going to treat the money coming in and the money going out, it would just be money coming in and money going out in that sense, and go through Dignity that way, with no like net effect or anything.
Okay. Well, I don't think we need to discuss expenses now. I feel like that's not really...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it depends if like, we're going to have the expenses coming through Dignity, or if we're going to have them like completely separate, in that they just deal with that themselves. But I sort of feel like maybe...
It would bring more clarity and ease to the user, I think. But yeah, I'm happy to park this, or at the very least put this at the end of this conversation, to see if we then we can choose whether or not we want to have it, rather than put it ahead of the thing we actually came together to discuss.
Yeah. I don't think it's that much of a problem. I think it just comes in, it goes out fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think for it's just more money to have to handle.
Yeah.
Like at first, handling the expenses in the prototype, doing transactions through the bank account and then passing them to someone else for them to spend it. I feel like they can coordinate them themselves. One person buys the expenses and then bills
it's
that
not
person
really
individually. I think that's
the magic brush of Dignity and what is exciting about what we're doing and what's exciting about how we interact with money doesn't really play a role in the expenses, does it really?
No, that's just an convenience
thing,
basically.
Really. Yeah. That's just...
It'll just work the same way that we're dealing with it now. Like, that we're going to deal with it. It'll just work the same way. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, I think I'll argue that case then, to sort of test it as much as anything. I think it makes sense that, the more the worker pockets for themselves, the less they can decide where money goes to causes. Because I guess I see their pocket as like a cause. They've used up some of their decision-making power on it going into their pocket. I don't know. Yeah, it's just pretty simple. Both people decide 50% where the money's going. It feels like even, balanced, fair.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah.
And
charge more if you.
Yeah.
So, from my point of view, it's that choice element. If someone is working, they want to pocket, the 49%, then they're doing a job at, most likely a very discounted price, at like half the price they would. I feel like they're going to want to have some say in where that money goes. I think that's quite the element that's really going to catch people.
Why would they pocket so much?
Themselves. I wonder whether to begin with people are going to at least feel like they need to sustain themselves through the work.
Do you feel that accurately values the time and money aspect?
Equally, yeah, I know. Like, this is what I'm trying to get my head around. I don't know why it confuses me every time I really do it. Like, it helped when I was visualizing it in the graphs. So, if a person is paying the amount of money for a job, they get to decide where half the money goes. I feel like it gives the person that owns the money, who has the money in hand, who is, if they're being the hirer, then they're probably generally in a better position. If you just look for prime example of TaskRabbit, all the people that are hirers are like upper class. Like, you can live your life. You don't have to do measly tasks. We'll do that for you. That gives them the power because they've got the money. I feel like we're slightly aligning with that if we are giving more power of the decision to the person with the money. And I know that you're saying that actually the worker gets to decide where that 50% goes, but they get pocket it. Really tricky one.
I'm just looking at it, trying to quantify the benefits of each. So the hirer would get a job done, and then they would also be able to choose where 50% of that money goes to.
Right.
The worker would receive some money. So, okay, the hirer would get a job done. They would choose where 50% goes to. They would also have to give up some money. The worker would give up his time.
Yeah.
He would pocket the money, but then it also, that fluctuates in, he would reduce then where the money goes to. Like, would that make him feel good? If he gives up his time, he gets the money in return, so that would make him feel good, but he hasn't given as much if he's taken as much.
Mm.
I don't know, I'm trying to work out.
You know, if we have an altruistic worker, I feel like the worker has quite a high cost. If they decide that they want to decide where half the money goes, and they're volunteering all of their time, then I guess that person is volunteering all of the money, and it's all going to look good. Maybe you're... trying to work out what makes sense in my head.
I've changed my mind.
Ah.
I'm going back to the compromise one. It's more complicated, but I just don't think our users need to understand it. I just think it's a case of using the right language and just saying workers and hirers both get to decide together where the money goes, and the worker can pocket up to 49% of the original grand total, because that still would be true. But so here, now you can compare the two graphs. This is the one that I talked about before. Is that really clear in your head?
Mm-hmm.
So that black line represents
50%.
Above the black line is the hirer gets to decide. Below the black line is the worker is deciding. And the green is different examples. Over here is the least amount of money that a worker can pocket, which is 0%. And over here is the most amount of money a worker can pocket, which is 49%. And the red is just simply showing you the maximum amount a worker can take. Green is what they actually decide to do. So as you can see, the worker pocketing more has no effect on anything else. It doesn't cause any disruption. Whereas over here, this is what I think is the most sensible thing. The more money the worker decides to pocket for themselves, the more overall decision-making power they have.
More money.
Yeah. Because Pasco, I'm counting pocketing money yourself as using your decision-making power to decide where the money goes. I don't separate it.
You just said we gave the worker more power of decision.
Yeah, because look, so that above the black line is the money that the hirer chooses where it goes, right? So you can see the green is what the worker is pocketing for themselves.
So the hirer gets more decision.
Yeah, no, the worker gets more decision-making power the more they pocket.
You got that right, because that's the opposite of what you were saying before.
I'm compromising between...
No, but you're saying that if the person decides to take 49%, then they'll get the maximum amount of decision. That would encourage
including the money they're pocketing. Because whenever you talk about it, you're always talking about... You make it sound like the worker deciding to pocket money for themselves is not part of their deciding where money goes.
Right.
Whereas I always do. And I'm like, that's part of their choice of what they want to fund. They've chosen to fund themselves. But just like stick with me for a second more. So here, I'm hiring, so I'm looking at the top half, or well, less than half over here. But I'm the hirer, okay? So let's just look at this example if we go with this system. In this example, the worker is pocketing little or nothing. We have basically a 50-50 decision-making stake in where the money goes. Again, I'll just reiterate that when I talk about the worker deciding where the money goes, that includes possibly in their own pocket. Just overall decision-making power of where that money is going. So over here, the worker is pocketing the maximum allocated amount, the maximum possible amount allowed, which is 49% of the original total, which, running with our example, was £10. 49% of that is £4.90. So the worker is pocketing £4.90. But see this extra bit of space, this extra bit of white space underneath the black line? That's not...
You need to move your fingers
over here. This wedge, this growing white wedge at the bottom here represents the worker can still have a say around causes that they want to support and fundraise for. And that's obviously having to come from somewhere, so it's coming at the expense of the hirer. And that's why their decision-making power is narrowing. The more the worker is pocketing for themselves, the less say the hirer has. So in this case, where the worker is pocketing the entire 49%, £4.90 per hour, the hirer is only having a 25% decision-making stake in that circumstance.
That makes sense.
Okay.
So imagine you're the hirer. All you're interested in, selfishly, is what's above that black line. And this line represents how much decision-making power you have over where the money is going. So over here, you've got loads of decision-making power. You've got exactly as much as the worker. And the reason is because the workers pocketed nothing for themselves. But over here, where they've pocketed loads for themselves, you effectively, as a hirer, have less decision-making power. Because Dignity has given the worker a bit of extra decision-making power, so they can still allocate some to causes while pocketing 49% for themselves.
Does that feel like a compromise to you, or does that make more sense?
Both. I think I like them both equally, to be honest. I think this one, in a way, theoretically does. I don't know. Yeah, I really feel completely equal about them. I think this one I feel like is just simpler and easier to sort of explain, but I don't really feel like we do need to explain it that much, actually. And I feel like I've explained this and got it out of my head and into your heads. Like, how clear is this? Totally honestly, you can't just say I literally don't get it at all.
No, I get it.
Yeah?
I'm just thinking through the work is like a tough job. I like the second one in a way that if a worker does a job and they don't anticipate that it's going to be as difficult as they first thought, then that allows them to take a higher amount, but they still have that, I'm still giving, in proportion to that. I'm not, because say the job was tough in a sense, and I'm taking higher amount because I feel like I put a lot into that, but the amount that I'm giving away is not so much because it's capped at that line. Whereas with that one, it goes up in a way, so it's like, but I still feel good. Because even though I feel like I need this, I'm still giving more in that way.
To me, it eases people into this. Like, I think one of the things that actually the offline prototype showed of people not knowing where to donate money is maybe the fact that they don't know that many charities and underestimating I think we perhaps, and not underestimating as well, just not fully thinking about how people feel currently. And I think we might need to ease them in with that solution to begin with. Like, still have that choice element, because I think that choice element of being able to decide where the money goes is really going to make a big difference about how many people use it. They're going to be able to do a job for someone else and be able to decide where that money goes. If they're just fundraising for other people's charities, I don't think they're going to want to spend that time doing it.
Unless they align massively.
True. And I feel like this is an easy, and then maybe we could move to something like that.
Yeah.
I like that other one too.
So that's based on the assumption, would you say, that it will be harder to find workers than hirers? Because you're talking about incentives, right, for workers, more than incentives for hirers.
I guess, it's more about fairness, I think, actually. Just the person who's working is already giving a lot of time.
But are you separating this conversation from the fact that the worker can decide? They have to decide the hourly rate. They could jack it up to like double what a hirer would normally pay. They might not do that.
But then would they be like? Could there be other workers out there that would be at a lower rate than them because they've chosen to go higher because of
Yeah, competition.
yeah,
Avoid
your
competition.
I didn't mean competition.
You mean,
But I just mean
elevating
'cause-
of costs so that it covers their backs. And,
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the same thing as, supporting themselves through the platform, which is what we avoid,
Mhm. I guess yeah, it's just like if if I'm filmmaking for like half a day or even a whole day through Dignity, and I'm doing it for the right reasons, like I'm not doing it primarily to get money for myself, but I've thought about it and I'm gonna pocket I was gonna say 25% for myself. Like, would I actually see it as a percentage? Like, does that make sense to me? Wouldn't I see it more like X number of pounds per hour? Isn't that more the way I would see it as the worker doing filmmaking? I want to have at least like £5 an hour go towards the wear and tear of my equipment. So then by not seeing it as a percentage, but rather a fixed amount of money, I can now, that's what I meant about like upping my hourly rate. I might still just take 25% rather than 49%, but I'm charging more. I'm charging 30 quid an hour instead of 20 something. I wonder which way people would do it. I feel like I would generally charge quite a lot on Dignity. I think. And then pocket a fairly small amount.
You're on it at the minute, I'm not positive anything. One that I had is honestly, Taylor or something to that, really,
That's because it wouldn't let me. Yeah, because there is something that really excites me about being financially accessible to people. And there was two things I saw which, even if we don't discuss them now, I just want to name them so they exist. One is people started putting, I think you copied this, or maybe you started it. People started putting like different wages, like as if it depended on a situation, like depended on how much money the hirer wanted to take. Like, I'll do ballet lessons for £15 to £25 an hour, depending on. It didn't really say what it depends on.
Oh no, that was like pay as you feel, like what you can afford for Dash.
Right. Okay. So literally, they have a slider and they just choose what they want to pay. It's as simple as that. Cool. Okay. So that's like definitely a feature that's going to be a significant element of the user interface, the user experience, online and offline, I think. So, yeah. And I think there's effective and ineffective ways of doing that, I think, because pay as you feel is a beautiful but quite fragile model, I think, where like Real Junk Food Project, for example, I feel like are really missing a trick by not really communicating well at all about where their money goes. I think they do have some flyers and they may give a bit of information, but that information should just be a beautiful, very pretty, simple infographic that's attached to all of their money buckets.
Yeah, it's true. I have no idea where the money is.
And also like a little thermometer that says, we're doing well this week, oh my God, we're skint, help. Just like, otherwise I'm just like passively throwing money at something, not knowing how much it's needed, what it's funding. It doesn't feel as exciting. I'm
starting to come around to this 49%. I mean, it's not like coming around, like I've kind of always. I mean, the other thing is, right, we've got to test this now on our prototype online. And try and do that, like 49 varying. I've got to do a calculation every time I look at it, and then you're probably going to be asking why it's that amount. If I'm doing 49%, 51%, the higher gets to decide 49%, the person gets to decide. Yeah, like it comes down to the fact that whether people are. I always want to test that. It comes down to people whether they're able to give up that time. It's actually someone is using dignity to volunteer. Yeah, no. Do you know what? That makes more sense to me.
I just think that like hirers are going to
This
pay
is what I
more,
wanted.
knowing.
This is the reaction I wanted because I knew that he was compromising. And I wanted you to just be honest about it. Luke normally has the right answer.
Hirers are going to pay more. I think it's good that they get it into their heads that Dignity Platform is not a place you go for bargain odd jobs to get done.
I just wanted you to explain it better.
Just like fair trade, although that can be a bit like contentious in some ways sometimes, but organic fair trade, these kinds of like premium products that are sometimes debatably, but sometimes, you know, more ethical. You're paying for to fund a bigger picture of something. You're buying into more than just that product.
You're buying into every product in the future.
I guess they're just giving them time, aren't they?
Huh?
They're just giving them time. Like, I'm looking at it like, oh, okay, they're not getting a lot back, but they're giving their time to give. But someone else is deciding for them where that money goes. I don't know.
But only if they decide to pocket 49%. And like, actually, when you kind of like spend a bit of time looking at jobs and stuff, and then people that have given it all, I guess that's the whole point of Dignity, is to volunteer your time. It's to be an odd job between your normal job to give whatever your expertise is to that. Yeah, like Luke says, it's not to like replace your day job, you know. Although, yeah, the only thing with this model is if we want to create a new economy around giving, then that means that it becomes like this. But I mean, that's future.
What about the ambassador thing?
Yeah.
I mean, the ambassador idea is interesting because it's like, what's more tempting for you to hire out of you want a web designer to work for 1 hour for £10? Would you hire the ambassador who's going to pocket 75%, or the odd jobber who's going to pocket 10%?
And if you're a worker.
And would they charge the same as well? Would the ambassador be likely to charge? I suppose they would both be charging roughly the same amount, because you wouldn't become an ambassador, up the percentage you're pocketing, but then reduce your overall cost, probably. I don't know, I guess we can only guess these things. We can only guess how people will behave. But I think I think my strongest feeling is not an opinion about this. My strongest opinion, I think, is that we should just run with one of these, or whatever, some option, to stick to it, understand why we chose that one.
Yeah.
However much we believe in it, as long as it's the one we disbelieve in least, and we just run with that for a bit, and we just keep really asking people. We ask the hirers, how do you feel about this? We ask the workers, how do you feel about this? Do you wish you had more say? Do you feel like you've got an unfair, huge amount of say?
Yeah. We just gotta get feedback on it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I think it's really good.
And when we ask them, remind them, of course, that, you know, the worker, just try and introduce them to any other factors they might not have thought of. Like if the worker is like, well, yeah, I do feel a little bit like shortchanged or not really valued or something. Just, you know, just make sure we've introduced to them, I totally hear you, but also, like, what do you think about just upping your hourly rate? Because like, that's part of the research as well, I think. Do most of them ask that question? Do most of them feel like, well, I'd assume that the hirer just wouldn't pay that? Then can we test whether that's true or not?
Interesting to think about what that will actually do to the kind of full economy of dignity. You know, whether it would be a premium service that people will be able to afford to use dignity because it's a charity. Do you know what I mean? And suddenly it becomes a premium thing.
Yeah, but like fair trade is that, man. Like fair trade is a type of social change that excludes the working class.
Right, but when that happens, if people are upping their prices.
I have to find out.
Yeah.
We've got to find out. I think
Yeah.
what excites me most, and I'm gagging to hear both of your views on this, and anyone who's watching this, but what I'm really excited to hopefully see is just a massive diversity. Whether there's some people, maybe some people charge loads per hour, pocket nothing. Other people charge, like £2 an hour and pocket 49%. Maybe 1 week they charge loads and charge 25%, and the next week they pocket the same percentage but they charge less, just to play with it and to see what it's like. Maybe they do the pay what you feel thing, use that feature. Like we haven't really vocalized that being an option in the pilot or anything. That's a significant feature. If you want to run with that, I think that's really cool. I love pay what you feel because it makes people think. It invites empathy and being more conscious, I think. So it's cool, I think. And yeah, defining our defaults as well. So if Reem goes, I just want my hedge trimmed, I've got this budget, that's it. You do the rest. I love dignity. I love that my money's going to go to something cool. That's it. Like, you might want me to be interested or partake in other stuff. I'm not going to. That's my cards on the table. Then what do we do with her 50% of decision making that she doesn't want? Do we just go by default? That's going to all go to dignity. Don't think that would be a terrible option. Or do we go? This is what I would propose. By default, 25% goes to dignity, and the other 25%
goes into our magic pot of democracy funding.
This goes to UKIP to get Nigel Farage a nice hairdo.
Yeah. No, but it could go into like a big pot of money that everyone gets.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. What were you gonna say?
I was going to say, so Reem wants a hedge cut, got £10 an hour.
Somebody to give them
She's got that decision-making power over her £5, but she's just not going to use that decision-making power. She just goes, whatever. I think the default should be we take half of her half, so that's 25% of the £10, and the remainder goes to the worker, so it expands their amount that they get to allocate. Okay. They can still only pocket 49%.
We can have like a discussion on like a surplus. We've got this surplus money, and this can go to any cause that we all decide on that we feel passionate about.
Democratized money.
Yeah, moving on.
Isn't dignity in itself a little bit like that money pot? If we're really open as an organisation, obviously core team are going to have way more influence over this money. But if we get surplus money, I just can't imagine us being like, hey guys, we've got loads of surplus money in the Dignity bank account. Should we just pay ourselves like £100 an hour? And like loads of caviar and champagne.
Red wine.
Not letting Joe near the red wine ever again.
Yeah, I see that.
Can I throw a curveball then? Just to finish up on, quite late. Why don't we want this to become like people's day jobs? Why wouldn't we want people using dignity every day for their job? Every day?
I loved the way on our disruption chart you added that sneaky badger little extra bit. We added that little, in the areas that we want to disrupt. And I put that post-it note on the outer edge saying
day job and the arrow. Job. Yeah, you talked about the arrow before.
Yeah, man, TaskRabbit all the time. I'd like to hire someone on TaskRabbit to build Dignity platform. Oh yes, look at this. This is an annotation by Luke Legg. This is it says, "You love scrubbing toilets and sweeping."
This has crashed. Oh no, it hasn't. God, it takes a fucking long time, doesn't
It
it?
does. I don't know. We're gonna have to do something about that. It's only gonna get worse. We'll have to make another board.
Yeah, we should just yeah, track stuff that hasn't been interacted with for a while onto another board. There's just something really fun about zooming out and seeing the whole thing sometimes.
I know. I love showing
For
people.
sure.
Sure. We do.
Gonna take another 20 seconds. I think I've got a screenshot of this somewhere instead though. Look at.
That's a really good idea.
This doesn't really have to halt the conversation
Can
there.
you send this to me? Well, I started doing this and
Oh yeah, this is. I want to yeah, Vision.
I reckon I've got more for that actually. I haven't really.
Yeah, so this is the original one before Pasco added the sneaky little line in.
Right.
His line just said, over time, we disrupt your day job more and more and more. Until after you've been on Dignity for like a couple of years, maybe it is, hopefully, probably your primary income.
For example, right now, it is for me.
Yeah,
And
same. Yeah, like, yeah.
so, you know, you always talk about it not being.
Jesus. It's nothing like this on the office. I think this is
I feel like it's going to go explain to Gary. Like, he's got some light.
What did you say? So close. What did you say, Joe? What did you say, Joe? Can you hear me, Joe?
I'm just going to Gary.
Say that again. Oh, can you hear her? Can you hear us, Joe? Yeah. Oh, but you can't speak.
I can speak.
Oh, okay.
Hide.
Oh, you were nodding the whole time. I can't see you because I'm sharing the screen. Yeah, this is it, basically.
Yeah, look, there's the arrow.
Is that what's that?
It's the grid behind. Oh, that arrow. Okay.
Isn't that, is it?
No.
Go to that. Anyway, so yeah, I guess that's going to be ambassadors, isn't it, basically? It's not going to disrupt your day job unless you're an ambassador.
Yeah. Oh, or unless lifestyles change in a way where you can actually work and be able to live off the 49% each time.
Aye. Have we made a decision?
I've made a decision personally.
Do we know what we're going to tell people in the offline pilots and
Well,
stuff? And
so what's your thinking? Josephine.
she fell into a box again.
Yeah.
Let's talk
It's
about
quite
that.
strange how you can see your eyes move when you're watching this. Like,
Yeah.
You never actually get to see that normally.
Yeah.
It's just weird, isn't it? Hi.
Hello.
So we're going to come to a conclusion.
Okay.
I wanted your thoughts. Test.
Yeah.
When you're ready. As in a conclusion on this, on our decision making of where the money goes. Who gets to decide where the money goes?
Oh, hi,
Or
Joe.
at least to test.
This offline pilot's great, Joe. I'd like to offer my filmmaking services. So if I'm offering my time, who gets to decide where the money goes that's being raised? Joe.
Me.
You get to decide. Oh, okay. Joe's deciding everything.
Perfect.
Am I Sarah?
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're just a bit delayed.
Yeah, you're just not
Okay.
speaking.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you guys are delayed before, it's right. So, okay, who gets to decide?
Yeah, what's your favourite of the options so far, or of all possible ones? He's moving.
Is that any better?
It was fine for us. You just weren't talking much. We were asking questions and we didn't get any answers.
I answered. I said who gets to decide.
Yeah, we're asking you. We're asking you for your opinion.
I didn't hear what you were talking about.
Well, the whole time.
So today, we've been discussing who gets to decide where the money being fundraised goes.
Okay. Oh, that's a question.
Yeah, it's the question we've been discussing for like an hour.
No, I thought you were doing like a pretend I'm the hirer, so I get to decide. Okay, so who decides where the money goes?
Yeah, who, like, after the discussion the options and talking about it, which
So there's
do you think?
so there's the 50-50, or the hirer decides the majority if the worker takes the majority.
Or anything, whatever. Like, they're just a couple we've been chatting about.
Yeah, I mean, Anna might have a whole new idea and it's going to be genius. And this has been a waste of an hour. Well, not a waste, it's been fun. Yeah, Anna might have her own ideas. But what's your favourite?
I sort of like the 50-50 one. Yeah. I like that someone gets a job done, someone gets the money, and then they both have a collective, fair influence on where the money goes. So they both benefit, and then they both benefit again.
So if the worker is pocketing 49%, they get barely any say over where the funds raised go.
No, I think
No,
she
the
said,
worker pockets 49%,
Oh, I
and
see.
then they get to
Oh, I see. Yeah.
show where 25.5% goes.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my favorite. But I also like the option B, which is the more that the worker pockets, the more that they get to influence. In that sense, up to 75%. That, like, my initial thing is 50-50, but more of a compromise would be the 75% line.
I can't believe I haven't realised until now that option B on here is just literally what you guys have said the whole time. Or you. Where
Yeah.
the worker removes the bit for their pocket, and then it's a 50-50 split between them.
It's the same.
How the fuck have I not realised that until now? That's really embarrassing.
It's more in a fluctual line. It's like
That's exactly what that is. That's just pay the worker first, and then what's left over is equally decided between the hirer and worker. I was disagreeing with you and then proposing that. That's fairly insane.
I didn't realise. I didn't see the 75. That does, yeah. Not technically, because actually the 51 is split in half, but you know,
Maybe, yeah.
76.
I mean, it could be somewhere between 75% and 50%, so like 60 something, and then it is actually a different option where it's like, yeah, whatever. So what are you saying? Your favourite option is option B?
Yeah, option B.
Yeah. And you feel like you could explain that to people in
Option
an
B.
offline pilot?
Mm.
That's cool.
I'm still quite split. It's funny, like I think I want to test A, mainly, not mainly, but partly because trying to do B on an offline pilot where we're splitting pots of money and then we're doing bank transfers and all of that, getting like 36% and then splitting 15 and 14, whatever, like whatever numbers. Having lots of different numbers in small divisions is going to be really complicated. And we haven't actually also defined how many charities we're allowing people to split into, because that can't be unlimited for sure anyway, but it can't be that many either on our prototype. Maybe like 4, so that it gives us 25%. I don't know. So I almost want to test A actually and see how that goes and get people's reactions, because that will foster, I think, like a better community to begin with, because it'll be ones that are concentrating on the giving aspect of it. This element, I think, like perhaps we can implement if people are finding it unfair, that they want to have more influence on the decision. I'm pretty split with both of them. I think they both work, but especially as a prototype, I think like realistically that is the only concept that is gonna be possible, because trying to split money so many ways.
I would really like to get feedback. And even do it myself. I'd like to get feedback of people and do it myself at the same time, like try it myself and see which way. Do I feel any different, or do I have some real like pull towards one or the other if I do it myself?
Yeah, because you put accounting on there with some pay what you feel flexibility, but not completely pay what you feel. And you were fundraising for Woodcraft Folk, Chicks, Dignity. Don't remember you putting anything for yourself. And one other thing.
No, I did. I think 49% for myself, and then the rest Samaritans, Woodcraft, Chicks, Dignity.
Okay.
Autism. But yeah, I feel like I want to try it, and then I feel like I want to get feedback on all of them, or them two in particular, because I can see like the figures they may get difficult, but like the thing you showed me, Luke, with that, I don't know what it was on, but the more you reduce, the higher that bar went. So the lower that you went with that bar.
Oh yeah.
I sort of feel like that's such a clear way of showing like how it would work, and that's how I see it in my head. So I'm like, it's so clear. Like, how can that not be?
Yeah,
to me that's so clear. Like, if we could show that, then
yes. I want to just bring that up because you're talking about it.
No. So your first one, you donated 100% to Dignity Platform.
Oh no, is it lots of people?
no.
Is it just Luke?
Mm-hmm.
Hi Luke!
Hello, I'm just a computer screen at the moment.
Sorry, didn't mean to gate crash. Hi!
Hi,
Oh my god,
hi.
Luke, that's your hair!
Yeah, I've cut my hair.
Is it just styled differently?
No, it's been removed. This is a wig.
I'm confused, but it looks cool.
Thanks. It was free.
Is your
Somebody needed-
moustache different as well?
They put a moustache on me as well. Yeah, they glued it on.
Well, you look
I was
great.
very impressed. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, bye.
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 Oh, congratulations on having a dignity page on Facebook.
Huzzah.
Thanks.
Very exciting.
Gotta take credit for that.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you on the board you wrote 100% dignity platform,
Yeah, you turncoat.
unless someone decided to rub part of it off.
Yeah, I removed all of her stupid charities. And
Sure,
put
there is some
dignity
blue pen remnant.
on. Yeah, what is that?
Look. Yeah, look, right? Don't want it.
It's a bright light.
Really. Hold on, we need to talk so that you can actually see.
La
La la la la la la la la la. Joe.
Okay.
Accounting services. 25 to 35 pounds. Dignity platform. But there are some tiny bits of blue here and here, as if it might have been split before, but then rubbed off. A little bit of blue there too. Something's going on.
No, I did do 100% digital.
All
But
right.
that's, that's subject to change.
I can't get away with that. She fixed her ways.
Do you stand by that? Because you're online now.
No, I'm going to try like option A and option B. So let's
Okay.
see.
See how it feels.
Good. Should we stop talking for I'm trying to find this thing, and we should stop before I find it. Oh, I think I found it. Yes, I found it. A little bit late, but just to complement what they were talking about, for the benefit of the audience, this is the slider graphic thing.
Oh,
Oh, fuck's sake.
What are you doing?
Ah, God. Open it again. My computer being shit. $10. How much money I want to go to Sega. How much money I want to go to charity. How much tip I want to give.
I like that. I don't know why I like it. It's just so playful.
There's the interrelationship between money, isn't it? Like they don't mind you doing pay what you feel and paying them nothing, but then they want you to pay loads to charity.
Bit too many bars.
You can't pick your own charities, huh? It has to be one of those 4 charities. I like that you can decide what charity you like the most. Great.
Oh.
What's up? Good. What? So
We actually make a decision. We're going to try that one then.
50-50.
Let's see what Anna says as well, but I mean, we got, yeah, we'll
So
see
we're going with
we'll see
option
Anna
A.
tomorrow.
So if you're a worker and you pocket the full 49%, you get practically no say over what money is fundraised for. You had your chance and you pocketed it, you selfish git. That's what we tell people.
I think in terms of fostering a community that are concentrating on giving rather than profiting, that makes sense.
Yeah. And so then we'll just say to those people, why not just charge a bit more money, you plonker? And then you can pocket less and you can decide more where funding for causes is going.
Yeah.
Double your hourly rate. Then you can pocket 25% instead.
I wonder what that looks like.
I mean, it makes it simple. Like, it makes it, yeah. It makes it more
It
simple.
does make it much
Makes it more-
simpler. Yeah. I've wasted loads of times on push ups on that.
Why?
No, just because I did it all by splitting the 50% of afterwards. But because
Oh,
we
okay.
didn't explain that to begin with,
Right,
the
yeah.
percentages we have to actually do that. like 24%, 25% to one church, and then they wanted to pocket some as well.
That could just be their half, no?
Random people to pocket. Like, you know, like most. In fact, that's the. There you go. Almost.
Right, let's call it.
Anyway, yeah, that's done.
Call it a day. Alright, anything
Nice.
else anyone wants to say before
Anyone got
we
business?
close?
So option A,
Option A is for the Mo. Give that a
Let's
bash.
test it. That's what prototype's for.
Yeah, and no expenses. We're not dealing with expense budget.
No, I think people, at least definitely
Um,
the prototype, people sort themselves out. I think maybe that comes in later. Not later. There's a lot of other things that we need to coordinate. Like, that's such a bonus for us to sort that out for them. Like, there's a lot more important things we can spend our time with.
And how many people have paid? Just one so far.
I got my card reader today. I'm going to make the payment tomorrow.
Cool.
Be our first
Um,
transaction.
And Pascal, I want to fix your email so you can email us pascal@dignityplatform.org.
Yes, I agree. And I
'cause-
can sign up, yeah, that's easy.
Because yeah, I just felt a bit. I mean, I told you this already, Pascal. Just kind of like share with Joe and Anna. Yeah, just being copied in on that email. We're asking people to pay for services right now on the Dignity offline prototype to jackpascophotography@gmail.com, PayPal. Is it hard
Yeah, although
to?
I don't have a PayPal account for. You can do it through your bank. That's why I got the card reader. That's why it's taking me less today.
So it would be a real faff to create offline pilot at dignityplatform.org as a PayPal account and people pay that.
Maybe not. Maybe I'll try that. I don't know
Just-
how it makes it. Yeah,
I just think if people are
might have to sign up
sending,
with a card or actual bank account.
even if it was your bank account, I think just the fact that the email address is registered to our website domain just looks good. Something at dignityplatform.org.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Right,
Let's do this.
I'm done. Over here.
Yeah. I agree. Oh, any other business? Any other loves? And business? That was silly words when they sound on us. La 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 la. Whoa. Oh, no.
I'm going to say goodbye.
Bye. Good night.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Joe. Bye, lovely.
Good night.
See you tomorrow in Bulgaria. Wait, no.
Huh?
In London.
Wait, you get in the same bus as us?
I'm getting a flight at 11 o'clock tomorrow night.
11 p.m. So yeah, we're going to see you in Bulgaria, mate.
I might wake you up. You might want to let me know where we're going, where we're staying, so
Oh,
I
yeah.
can come in and wake you up.
Yeah, I'll probably make a Google Doc with like that everyone should use for every piece of information. If we do that, Google Doc for all of the things that everyone needs to know. That's what it's going to be called. Bye.
Awesome.
Ciao.